Hey, what is up, awesome people? My name is Shady Wags with Got Your Back Gaming, and I'm going to be giving you some tips to help you get through that first couple hours of Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles does not give you much direction in the beginning any more than to just follow a road. Well, if you start following a road, there's a pretty good chance you're just going to end up dead. When picking a server, take note of what the server settings are. You can find those right here. In my opinion, the default experience multiplier is just a little bit low. I've set this to 2 on my server, and that's worked out really well, where 3 I thought was just a little bit too high. Also be advised that Conan Exiles is a very graphic game. There are extreme scenes of violence and possibly full or partial nudity depending on the server or game settings, so viewer discretion advised. When you start the game, you're given the option to pick your gender and race. There are 14 different races, and right now there doesn't seem to be any advantage or disadvantage to picking any one of those 14. There are 3 different religions: Set, Yog, and Mitra. And by picking one of these religions, you're able to build that specific religion's temple, and by presenting sacrifices and offerings to the temple, you are then given items in return. Set is the path I would choose if you're 100% going to go archery, because later on, that does provide you with access to making poison arrows from snakes. Followers of Set cut out their enemies' hearts and present them to the temple for a poison antidote. Yog is the god of cannibals. They cut up their enemies and cook them at the temple to create purified meat, which grants health regeneration. And Mitra is the god of justice. These are the good guys. They do not sacrifice people, but instead they purify the human remains and present their souls to the temple for ambrosia, another health regeneration food. After picking your facial and body features, you're giving a list of offenses that have led you to being exiled, and then you're placed into the game. When you're placed in the game, you can open the map by pressing the M key, and you're going to be starting somewhere in this general vicinity. Up here, this is a river, and that's what you want to start heading for. But before heading towards that river, there's going to be some things you want to do first. There's going to be a water skin somewhere in this area, along with a note. You want to look for that water skin and press E on the keyboard or X on the controller to interact and pick up that water skin. Now open up your inventory by pressing I on the keyboard, Y on the controller, and place that water skin onto one of the shortcut slots. Begin walking around the area holding down the interact button to gather as much plant fiber, stones, and branches as possible in that area where you just spawned. You want to craft a full set of course armor, and to craft an item, hit the I button, then select the item in the right crafting menu. The amount of materials that you're going to need are listed right here. Once you have collected the required amount of items, hit the craft button. The item will be placed in the crafting queue, and once it is finished crafting, it will automatically be equipped. As you're gathering materials and crafting armor, you're also going to begin gaining experience and gaining levels. To level up, hit the I button, and then click on the level up button. Now click on the button next to the attribute that you want to spend your points in. Initially, I would begin placing your points into strength at least until you have 5 points into it. That's going to allow you to hit harder and kill creatures faster. To get a detailed account of how each attribute affects your character, just hover over that attribute's name. Once you've crafted the full set of armor, you want to craft a stone pick and a hatchet. To unlock the hatchet, hit the I button and then click on recipes and select Apprentice Craftsman. And now click on Unlock. You're now going to be able to craft the stone hatchet, the bedroll, and twine. If you're out of materials in that spawn area, begin moving up the path, collecting materials along the way. You really want to focus on collecting as much plant fiber and branches as possible. My goal before I reach the outskirts of the river is to get to level 3 and take Mercenary. That's going to give you access to the stone sword and a wooden shield. If you follow the path, you're eventually going to encounter a bat creature. It will not attack you, so just keep collecting materials to keep leveling up. And you may want to go ahead and begin crafting twine, because you're going to need 13 pieces of this. Once you have reached level 3, select and unlock Mercenary. Now craft and equip the stone sword and begin making your way to the river. Watch your water level. If it begins to get too low, you can drink from the water skin by using the shortcut key. There are a lot of areas along this river that are good to set up a first camp, and it's going to vary server by server what you're going to encounter. I'm going to show you where I go. There could be better areas, but this is the area I have used on 3 different occasions, and it's worked well each time because it is safe. So once I have all my armor and I have my sword, I run straight for the river. I'm not going to stop to fight any creatures or people. I run right for the riverbank, and I try to locate the 2 big statues. Most of the time, you're going to be to the left of those statues. I start heading towards those statues, and any creatures or people that attack me, I just keep running or swimming. To run, use the shift key. Just make sure you do not completely deplete your stamina. Now, right past the statue, there's a cove. I'm going to swim across to the other side. And right here, there's an area where there's no hostile creatures. There's just 2 turtle spawns. I then immediately craft a bedroll and place that down by hitting the shortcut key and then left clicking on the mouse or right trigger on the controller to finalize the placement. Now I interact with the bedroll, and that will set my spawn point to the bedroll. Now if you die, you're going to respawn on that location. But remember, if you do die, you're going to need to craft another bedroll and set your spawn again. And you'll have to continue doing that until you're able to craft a bed. Your food and water is probably getting low at this point, so go ahead and loot the turtle eggs from a nest and eat those. If water is an issue, just walk into the river and keep hitting the interact button to begin filling your water level. And you can also hit the shortcut key for your water skin to fill that. Securing a food supply is now going to be the next important thing. So select and unlock Experienced Survivalists to gain access to the campfire. The campfire takes 50 branches and 30 stones. You can collect the branches off the ground and by equipping your stone hatchet and chopping down trees. To collect the stone quickly, equip the stone pick and hit the large stones. And at any time one of your tools or weapons breaks, you can just hit the shortcut key to automatically repair that item if you have the mats in your inventory, or you can also open the inventory screen and repair it from right here. Once you have all the mats, craft the campfire and place that beside your bedroll. Now you can cook meat, and the campfire is also going to provide you with a little bit of light while it's dark. There are several turtles in this area, and they are not hostile, and they're not going to fight back. So go ahead and attack those with your stone sword, and then harvest them with your axe. Chop down some trees. Now go back to the campfire and place the wood and the feral flesh into the campfire, and press the on button to begin cooking the meat. You could eat that meat raw, but if you do, you run a pretty good chance of getting food poisoning. Once the meat is cooked, it will turn into shredded roast, and you can either leave it in the campfire or move that to your inventory. The next thing I think is pretty important is storage, so I would unlock the small storage chest next. Craft that and place that beside your campfire. As you begin building more things, you're going to end up having a lot of mats in your inventory, and this is going to give you a place to store them for now. So you have a source of water, you have a way to cook food, you have some storage, and you have a bedroll. So now it's just a matter of continuing to level up by fighting, gathering materials, crafting, and surviving. Where I built the base here, this is not the best area in regards to materials. There is a lack of trees and a lack of plants, but it is safe, and generally not much of anything will ever come down here. Maybe occasionally a durst. To gather materials and to fight, you can go right behind this area. There's a lot of durst back here and a couple of scalebacks. And there's also a 2 NPC spawn, which you can pull one at a time. This area down here is good for collecting plant fiber. There are 4 or 5 dursts that spawn down here, so this is a good area for collecting feral flesh. There's a cave in the back, but if you enter that cave, you're going to begin receiving corruption, which damages your health and stamina. And if that happens, you're going to need a dancer to heal that damage, so I would not go into that cave. Now, a better place to actually gather materials is by swimming across to this island. As long as you stay to the right side, there's a lot of plants over here and a lot of trees. So hopefully this video helps you out and gets you off to a good start in Conan Exiles. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not already, and most importantly of all, have a great day.